Let me use Asian Paints, right? So, if you see that little slide on the top, what I've tried to show there is Asian Paints is the only business in the history of the planet. Asian Paints is the only business in the history of the planet which has grown revenues at 20% per annum for 6 decades now, right? 1952 से आज तक ऐसा हो रहा था, right? By the way, they probably grew it at 20% between 42 to 52, but they said वो data गुम गया है, and I sort of forgive them. 42 to 52 data रखा नहीं. It's I think it's a easily forgivable lapse. But more interestingly, look at the solid black line. The solid black line is the PBT margin. देखिए क्या हो रहा है PBT margin में 50 साल से. And then the dashed line is the ROC. 30 years से ऊपर जा रहा है. Company went public in 1982. From 82 to today, they've given a return of 1800 times. 28% CAGR. Forget the CAGR. Business doubles in size every 3 years. In fact, last 1.5 years में business double हुआ है. But typically, if you take the last 30-year history, business doubles every 3 years. Promoters are worth $12 billion roughly. Minority shareholders are worth $10 billion roughly, right? Now, the question is, how do they make so much money? So when I came to India in 2008, I honestly couldn't figure this out. I thought, यार ये iPhone तो बना नहीं रहा, paint बना रहा है, how can he make so much money? So I asked the other fund managers in Bombay, and they said ये बहुत easy है, इनका brand बहुत अच्छा है, and they have economies of scale. So I thought, oh my God, some great truth has been revealed to me. I went and told 5 people, did you know Asian Paints had great brand and economies of scale? And then that's the way it stayed till May 2014. I got back home from work one day, and our house was being painted. For reasons we can discuss later, I don't do the capital allocation at home. Somebody else does that. So I had to show the painter, I'm the boss. So I said, क्या paint लगा रहे हो? And he said, मैं लगा रहा हूँ Dulux का Velvet Touch. मैंने बोला ये तो गलत कर रहे हो बॉस, Dulux return on capital is only 16%. So तुरंत बंद कर दो. Painter said नहीं, यही best paint है इंडिया में. So my colleague Rakshit Ranjan, he's our fund manager, he's also an IIT Delhi chemical engineer. So to recover my pride, I called Rakshit and says, is this guy right? Is Dulux the best paint? And Rakshit's a Punjabi from Pritampura. So he said in very blunt language, Saurabh kabhi tin dekh liya karo, look at the ingredients, look at the science, the chemistry. This is a ICI product. It's a world-class product. No Indian company can produce this sort of chemistry. I said, लेकिन हमारा champ Asian Paints. He said, Saurabh, Asian Paints R&D spend as a percentage of revenues is 0.3%. The chemistry is very basic. 4 घंटे में गमले में बना के तुमको दे दूंगा. So that night I realized that I can read Warren Buffett till I go blind. इंडिया में कोई पैसा नहीं कमा पाऊंगा Warren Buffett पढ़ के. If you read Warren Buffett, you read American books, you will buy Akzo Nobel because brand is great, Dulux, science is world class, IIT IIM के बच्चे पढ़ रहे हैं, काम कर रहे हैं सॉरी वहाँ पे, right? बिल्कुल perfect है. Akzo Nobel ticks every Western paradigm. आप सेट क्लारमन पढ़ो, वॉरेन बफेट पढ़ो, माइकल बोबुसन पढ़ो, जाके एक्सो नोबल खरीदो, कंपाउंडिंग मजा नहीं आएगा. पैसा कमाने के लिए आपको एशियन पेंट्स लेना पड़ेगा, लेकिन हर एशियन पेंट्स, हाउ डज ही मेक सो मच मनी? द प्रोडक्ट इजंट ग्रेट, R&D स्पेंड इज नॉट ग्रेट, राइट? सो इट टुक अस 2 years to figure it out, and in the process, that journey of figuring out why Asian Paints makes this insane amounts of wealth, we ended up writing our second book, The Unusual Billionaires. We named the book in honor, in memory, in celebration of the genius who gave us, and I think who gave the country, the paradigm for insane wealth creation, right? If you ask some of the greatest promoters in India, they will tell you they've modeled their lives basis Champak Lal Choksi's life. He is the original unusual billionaire, the original founder promoter of Asian Paints, right? So here is what Choksi ji did. And there's a lot to learn. Chapter 2 of my book, Unusual Billionaires, will tell you more about it. And he built a money machine which I don't think can be surpassed. Till 1969, paint was sold like an FMCG product. So you would first advertise it, then you would have a wholesaler for Bombay, a distributor for say Kalina, and a dealer for the area near the Grand Hyatt, right? So wholesaler, distributor, dealer, classic FMCG paradigm. In 69, Choksi ji called up his wholesalers and distributors and said, you guys clear out, I don't need you, I will sell direct to the dealer in Kalina. सीधा factory से dealer के पास paint जाएगा. The dealers protested. Dealers said, Sarji, you're giving us 3 rupees a litre. Our shops are small, so we don't have the space to keep so much paint. And even if we had the space, we don't have the money to hold on to so much inventory. So the dealer's request to Choksi ji was, keep the distributor storage or financing karega, hum maal bechenge, world will be perfect, right? If you get a chance to read Unusual Billionaires, you'll realize at the heart of all the great money machines in India lies a non-linear insight. That's what my next book is about, right? At the heart of all the great money machines in India lies a non-linear insight, which at that time looks like pure madness, and 30 years later looks like undiluted genius. Choksi's genius moment was 69. He told the distributor, you get out, you're taking 20% margin, I'm not going to give you that, out. And he told the dealer, what I'll do for you, Mr. Dealer, is every 3 hours I will replenish your inventory. You don't have to stock it, every 3 hours my truck will come and replenish your inventory. People in Bombay said, this is crazy, every 3 hours means 4 times a day. You already have 40,000 dealers. How on earth will you deliver 1.6 lakh times a day? Right? In the remaining 28 years of his life, what this man built is so powerful that today, 22 years after his death, nobody in their right mind can even think about competing with the folks in Asian Paints across the road. सोच भी नहीं सकता कोई compete करने के लिए. क्यों ऐसा क्यों है? क्या बनाया इंसान ने? 4 चीजें की है. Paint is the only product in our country which goes straight from the factory to the dealership near your house. So यहाँ पे करीना में paint आ रहा है सीधा अंकलेश्वर से. There is no intermediary in between. Paint is the only product which gets restocked at the dealership near your house 4 times a day, 28 times a week. Everything else you and I buy gets restocked once, maximum twice. Biscuit, soap, shampoo. हफ्ते में twice ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा. Asian Paints is the only firm in India which takes home 97% of the MRP. Right? 3% goes to the dealer. Every other company in India, every other product in India, 30 to 40% MRP goes to the channel, 60% goes to the manufacturer. 60 for everybody else, 97 for Asian Paints. And the fourth uniqueness, and this is the barrier to entry, today they have around 70,000 dealers, 4 times a day. They're delivering anywhere between 2.5 to 3 lakh times a day. Right? This company delivers paint 2.5 to 3 lakh times a day. The number 2 player, Berger, delivers 40,000 times a day. Number 3, Axo, delivers 10,000 times a day. Forget paint, there is no company in any product in any sector in India which can deliver even 10,000 times a week. Forget din mein 2.5 lakh. Right? How does Asian Paints do it? How can they deliver with such frequency in a country where infrastructure isn't the greatest, right? The answer in one word is technology, right? In 1970, Champaklal Choksi spent 8 crore rupees buying the first supercomputer in India. 10 years before ISRO or IIT Bombay, 21 years before any other Indian conglomerate. If you ask any SAP consultant in the world today, the world's finest ERP implementation is not Amazon, it is Asian Paints. What they have done in simple English is this. For every neighborhood in India, for every hour of the day, for 50 years, they have collected data on what colors are selling, what quantities are selling, what tin sizes are selling. This mountain of data is their money machine. And this mountain of data is why the smartest people in the paint industry say nobody in their right mind should think about competing with Asian Paints. Right? What they do, and I'll explain in simple terms and then we'll move on to little champs, is this. If we go to the local dealer in Kalina and we ask him, देखिए sir, शाम को 8 बजे, what will you be selling in Kalina? The dealer will say, boss, I have no idea. मैं बैठ के I'm watching something on my Jio free phone. I don't have time to figure out क्या बिकेगा. The Asian Paint truck comes every 3 hours. जो भी माल उतार के जाते हैं 3 घंटे में बिक जाती है. Right? So we'll say our dealer, he doesn't know much about these things. Let's go and meet the area sales manager. But if we ask her, what will you sell in Bombay tomorrow? She'll say, how am I supposed to know? 120 dealerships, 4 shifts, 480 times they will be selling paint tomorrow. she'll say what happens is early in the morning, 4 a.m., I'll get an email in my inbox saying ये घाटकोपर ईस्ट की लोडिंग है, ये घाटकोपर वेस्ट की लोडिंग है, ये मालाबार हिल की लोडिंग है, ये वालकेश्वर की लोडिंग है. And she basically just follows the automated email which tells her what is the loading schedule for the day. If you go to the Ankleshwar factory, the production manager will tell you the same thing. Early in the morning, he gets his production schedule for the day. The procurement manager will tell you the same thing. If we go across the road, if they let us in across the road, if you ask them that, say, on 27th April, in Pune, in Viman Nagar, at 5 p.m., what will you sell? They can tell us right now with 98% accuracy. Right? That is the power of what they have built. Now, this entire system is automated. Raw material से finished product तक. It gives them a working capital cycle of 8 days. Raw material to cash and bank 8 दिन में. Berger Paints, really well run company, 1/3 the size of Asian, top line में. Working capital cycle 45 days. Asian Paints Roki 40, Berger ROC 25-27. Akzo Nobel, the best paint in India, 1/10 the size of Asian, working capital cycle 105 days. Right? ROC 16%. Right? 40, 25, 16. Best paint in India, Akzo Nobel, the best paint company in India, Asian Paints. Right? And this barrier to entry is not just unbeatable. Data किसी के पास नहीं है. This barrier to entry goes up and up and up every day. Because every day, Asian Paints sells to 55% of the country 4 times a day. 55 fours are 220. Berger sells to 20% of the country twice a day. 22s are 40. Akzo sells to 10% of the country once a day. 10 ones are 10. 10, 40, 220. हर रोज Asian Paints collects 6 to 20 times more data than anybody else. That refines the working capital even further. The forecasting of Viman Nagar gets sharper. The working capital cycle crunches further. I make more money. Right? So, the only 3 things that matter, अगर आपको पैसा कमाना है इंडिया में, the only 3 things that matter, promoter shouldn't be a chore. The promoter is a chore, भगवान बचाए आपको, भगवान बचाए मेरे को. First step, promoter shouldn't be a chore, books have got to be clean. 80% country वहीं खत्म हो जाती है. Right? Second thing, the product has to be essential for day-to-day life in India. And third thing, the barrier to entry should be as high as the Himalayas. Barrier to entry नहीं है तो पैसा नहीं बनेगा.